Yes.
Um, we know education builds understanding. However, we also know that design builds action.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's one thing to have a great lineup, right? And lots of times, many advisors focus on the lineup that you have. But the issue is if nobody's putting money in the lineup, it really doesn't do anybody any good, right? So, how can we cross that barrier? How is it that we can help participants, number one, invest, and number two, which is even, I think is exactly is specifically important, is how do we help them reach the retirement goal? And now, why would we want to do that? I don't know, Javon. Why would you want to do that?
Right, right.
Well,
Why would they want to have a goal to retire?
yeah, right. Because retirement ready employees help build stronger businesses. That's
Ah,
the way business owners take their retirement plan, turn it into a business asset, right?
oh, okay.
Right. So that's the deal. And that's what we want because we know when you get right down to it, we talk about, and I'll just say it right here now, a bleeding heart liberal capitalist pig. When you get right down to it, no business owner starts a retirement plan because, well, rarely does a business owner start a retirement plan because they're super interested in giving money away to employees. They start retirement plans because they want retention. The they want a reward. They want to help build their business, right? So the goal is to make that more effective. So you and I, we believe in education, right?
Yes, we
We
do.
all and we know, and we can put this on a clip that knowledge alone doesn't always change behavior. Better
No.
systems do. So along with that education, how do we make sure that someone's going to reach their retirement goal? How do we help that process? Well, let's talk about the match. We've talked about it before. Instead of just giving someone 3% or 2%, how about if we say, all right, in order to get your 3%, you need to put 3% in. Let's make it a match. In order to get your 4%, you need to put 6% in, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
employee has an investment, the employer has an investment, and since most people need to put 10 to 15% of their income away in order to reach the retirement goal, now we can see that the employer is really interested in that person's well being. Now, who would you rather work for? Someone that's interested in your well being or someone that has a retirement plan?
Um, Somebody with your retirement plan, but also interested in your well-being.
That'd be
I want
nice.
both.
That would be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's spoken like a true woman, but that'd be nice. That'd be nice. All right. So the bottom line is education answers why. We need to have education so that we can make it big, so that we can make. So why do we need education? So we can make good decisions. But design answers how, right? How do we create better outcomes, right? And we do that by making sure we have a great design. What's that match look like, right? Or like one of my favorites, not even in the 401k plan, but let's talk about a non-qualified plan for those high achievers, those great salespeople. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
That's a good approach.
I think it does because when you get right down to it, when you're making a decision as to whether you want to leave an organization or not, a lot of it has to do with money, and a lot of that has to do with total compensation. Total
Hmm.
compensation includes your benefits. So if you're talking with your spouse and you're thinking, I think I should jump ship, maybe that spouse will say, if you jump ship, are our kids going to be able to go to the doctor? If
Mm.
you jump ship, are we going to get some help helping you make that reach that retirement goal so that we can retire early or do whatever it is that we're going to do? Is that next company going to do that? And if they're not, maybe that spouse is going to say, perhaps you should stay where you are,
Mm.
right? I mean, let's
Mm.
get right down to it, right? I think another thing that plan design does is it gives people a goal to work for, like I need to get this started so that I can put my little bit in, and I can put a little bit more in, and I can put a little bit more in, and I can put a little bit more in, or a little bit more in. And by the time I keep putting my little bits more in, the company's going to hook me up with more and
Right.
more and more. So that
Right.
eventually we've got this partnership going on to help that participant reach that retirement goal so that they can come into the organization, do what they got to do, and leave the organization on time. That's a reason to stay, right? That's a
Mm,
reason for a participant to say, if I work hard and I do my job and I contribute to this company, the company's going to reward me with more than just my salary, and I'm going to be able to reach my retirement goal, take care of my family, take care of the things that I want to do. That's important to people,
right.
you know, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is important to people. And I think right in this day and age, people really want to know that the what they're doing is for the company that they're spending most of their time is that is appreciated. And one of the ways you can do that is through benefits. It used to be we'd have fantastic benefits and we knew our employees loved us. Then things got a little sketchy.
It's true. I think lots of people I talk to talk about the difference between the pension and the 401k, and lots of them stand on the pension being so much better. Um, but there are tons of people whose pensions have been dramatically eviscerated. So you're relying upon that, and the company, the organization, the government entity says, we can no longer handle this pension debt that we keep building.
Right,
But the 401k can't be taken away from you. That's your money.
right,
Once you put it in, that's your money, right? I mean, it's going to go up and down in the market, but that's your money. So I would think ideally we'd have a situation with both of those. But as an employer, I have to think if you're not going to be concerned about your retirement, why should I?
right. I wonder though if before we even aired the show when I said that all of a sudden we're no longer speaking in millions, we're in billions and trillions. But there was a time back in the day, maybe when you and I both were start working for people, that bosses weren't multi-millionaires. They were regular people with regular families. When I finally got in the insurance industry, there was some that, but a lot of their money came from family. But their salaries, and I've been in payroll a long time. Their salaries weren't $1.2 million because we weren't producing those kind of checks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they were more along the 150, 100. Maybe. I think I maybe worked with one company, and I think that was more because of half the commissions, but their base salary wasn't that. And so at that point, then they also had a interest in what retirement looked like, right? Because they didn't have billions of dollars stored
Interesting.
away somewhere, right? So maybe that's the difference. So now they're so far away from what the normal person is making, and they probably can't even remember when they were making maybe under $100,000. That they can't. They're not related. It's not relatable to them. What do you think?
I think you're saying something there. I think you're saying, of course, you're saying something. I think you're making a pretty interesting point, actually. And that's why I'm changing my focus to actually talk about how does that retirement plan help your business to become a better business, a more
Mm-hmm.
successful business? How do you take your retirement plan and turn it into a business asset? Because in many situations, I think you're absolutely right. So many employers, especially in large companies, maybe not in so many small companies, and especially large companies, so many employees are so far away from the the income level of decision makers that um, we're not the decision makers are not really concerned about how much their giving or contributing to that employee's success,
Right. Right.
because it's just a cost. It's just a
Right.
cost of doing business. It's a cost like turning the lights on. If you want to have an employee, you got to have a 401k plan. Well, the
Yeah.
reality of the situation is that if you want to have an employee for a number of years that continues to grow and continues to produce and continues to make your business better, you need to make sure that the benefits are appropriate. And I would say, as a business owner, it does my employees not too much good to have a benefit that's comparable to everyone else. Yet no,
Right.
let's have a benefit that helps my business grow as a business. Let's have a benefit that's an actual asset, a
Hmm.
retirement plan that's an asset, a health benefit that's an asset, something that's going to make my employees better, stronger, faster, more more contributory,
Hmm.
better employees, right? So
Right.
that we
Right.
can keep the company, make it better and stronger and faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So that's just my how I'm surmising this is that we just the haves are so far away from the have-nots that it's hard for them to comprehend what that looks like on the other side. And then they have so many other accrements that go along with their retirement money if they even choose to retire. A lot of them don't.
Oh, you mean the accoutrement, the things that go with retirement when you have.
Yeah, right. Yeah, those. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Well,
at one point they were concerned about that, the bosses, but now you know they probably won't. They don't retire. They just keep working forever.
I think so. There is a movement to rein that in. I suppose. But um, my job here isn't to help wealthy people become wealthier.
No, your
My
job is
job is
to
to
help.
help participants reach their readiness
Right.
goal, the retirement
Exactly.
readiness goal. And so um, I think employers play a huge part of that. And I think, as a retirement plan advisor, many of us in this line of work, we have forgotten that the major person, um, when it comes to retirement plan in the company, is that owner, those CEOs, those people that are making the decision, and giving them a good business reason as to why is really important. So that's why I'm so happy to be able to do this broadcast with you, because on the one hand, we have the employee and we need to help them make sure they are reaching their retirement goals so that they can take care of themselves when they get older, and
Hmm.
they can get themselves out of that generational poverty. They can they can make sure that they're not um, sandwiching their children
Hmm.
between old folks and college ages or what have you. And then on the
Hmm.
other hand, we need to make sure that that benefit actually benefits the employer, because if it
Right.
doesn't benefit the employer, why would they do it?
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
we're all in this together, right? So
I agree. I
that's
agree.
my 2 cents. So
There's your 2 cents. Okay.
on the end of the conversations on the patio, and we're all in this together. Crystal, I want to say thank you again. I still don't have your bio, but thank you again.
Tune in back next week, guys, and you'll find out what else
I'll
I
find
do.
out who this woman is exactly. But it's been a pleasure. And next week we'll be back at 1 o'clock on Conversations on the Patio, talking about retirement plans and turning those into business assets and employee retirement readiness tools. So,
All right.
see you
See
later.
you guys next week. Have a great week. Be cool. Try to stay cool.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Oh, you cut yourself off. What happened to you? All righty. So let me come out. Oh, I'm cold today. I'm tired. Ah, ah.
Crystal,
You got rid of you.
What's that now?
When you shut off every you too.
I got all kinds of stuff shut off here. My apologies, man. My apologies.
No problem. Hey, I want to tell you what real quick. I had a woman on my podcast last week. Her name is Sabrina Lamb, and she has a product. She's in fintech,
Okay.
and so she's created this whole trading platform, very much like a Robinhood or a Stash, that they can that is going to be available that is available in 10 different languages. She mainly created it for the African continent, but she's doing Haiti Creole, um, was it Patois for Jamaicans, so that everyone, wherever they happen to be sitting, the limitation shouldn't be because of the language.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It's called Wiki, Wikisa, and it's a Swahili term, but it's about building wealth for their future and for their retirement.
Don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's you say it's fintech, so she gives lessons on how to buy stocks and lessons on strategy, or
Yes, she does.
all of it.
So, and they can invest in U.S. They can invest around the world. They can invest in U.S. stock, and if we choose to do it as well, I'll use the app, and I actually going to sign up. And one of the problems concerns had been in those countries is they had to pay a large commission in order to have a brokerage a firm do manage that, or they had to buy through a broker, just like we did before we had Robinhood and Stash and Acorn.
Yeah.
So now they don't have to do that for $1 a month. They can invest in whatever stocks they want, and there's multilingual financial education and youth education, and they deal with institutional partners as well. Um, $1 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and those of us in America can also um, purchase stocks that are in EFTs or in other countries or in Africa.
Oh wow. That's a
Hmm.
good idea. And she
Excellent.
can down to $1 a month, I guess, because it's technology.
Yes, technology, and if you get the whole entire, it's 54 countries in on the African continent, and so she eventually going to be adding on more, but currently, um, French and English and Hausa and Portuguese and Spanish and Swahili and Yoruba and Zulu and all of
Oh,
the languages that are spoken in those countries. And then she says they're moving forward into the Caribbean countries that don't speak English, or their primary language is French, possibly, or Spanish or Portuguese. But they have access to over 3,000 plus U.S. stocks and ETFs through a fractional, and yeah, and they can buy fractional and whole shares.
oh really?
Mm-hmm. I'll send it over to you. You can take a look at it. So she is really a bright. She's from there. She's from New York. She's in New York, but she's looking at helping the individuals create wealth for not just now but for their future. And she goes, "This is long term investments. This is not this is no get rich scheme. It is for long term investment for their future."
Oh, I'd love to take a look at that. That's very interesting. The easier we make retirement plans, the more money moves around. And one of the things I learned when I was in school was that when you take the when you take the amount of money you have, um, it increases dramatically if it moves around. We call it money equals M3 equals M1 plus M2, or one is money and the other is the movement of that money.
Mm-hmm.
That concept of oh, I make $30 a month, but because I get that $30 every month, I can actually pay a bill that's, I don't know, $25 because I know I'm going to get paid another $30. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So that's very interesting. I really would love to take a look at that.
Yeah, and so I'm sending you over. We'll send the name of it, but I'm sending you her a LinkedIn page. So she's the CEO and founder of Skiza, and and she her area is fintech for the African diaspora and also U.S. Stock market access. And she provides that language in 10 different the education in 10 different languages.
Wow, cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Let's
I was.
get back to this whole thing about XF being gay. That's
I think that's
that is an amazing um, connection. That's
well. Everybody keeps saying all of them. When they go to when they were at the little fight or whatever you want to call that, the thing at the White House, and some and Trump has been doing this with when he showed up at the World Cup and wherever else he showed up, he shouldn't have showed up. He just goes on and on and on about their bodies, and so the gay community are going, okay, there's something really weird going on. Even we don't do it to that extent. I mean, and one guy that's one of the independent journalists, he's like, boy, he almost get to the point where it's uncomfortable, where he's looking at their muscles and wanting to feel their muscles, and they're like, what is happening here? So the more they've been observing all of them and their obsession with the male and the testosterone type of male, you know, um, I guess there's a name for that like that image you see where the man every bump on his body is just rippling muscles.
yeah.
They get a kick out of that, and that's all they talk about. And this is what Hebzet has been talking about a lot lately. So his last thing was he was didn't want these wimpy soldiers. He wanted these muscular fighting machines, and so he's making it mandatory for all of them to take testosterone. Now, how you gonna make somebody take testosterone is beyond me, but that's his idea of future fighters is that they have to be like fighting machines. What was that movie? Was it Blue? It was a police movie that they had robots that were, and they were all like these superhuman. They were not human, but they're super muscular fighting machines. That's
Oh,
that's Hepsex's vision.
oh, well,
But they're all obsessed with the male anatomy.
huh. Well,
So
I guess.
the consensus has been
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
because the average man, you being the regular average man, you not all obsessed with your buddy's bodies, are you? No.
Not necessarily. No. Women's bodies, I'm a wee bit obsessed with.
Right, exactly. As you should be, as most, good blooded, men that are obsessed with whatever they're gonna be obsessed with. But politicians who have come out against the gay community, that's a different bot. That's a different conversation.
It's very different, very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So that was that's what has been happening is that they're thinking, okay, y'all too obsessed about this stuff. This ain't right. This is there is something off about this bit of kind of obsession that you have, you and another man, and then at the same time you turn around and say you hate women, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting.
That part right there.
And people voted for him.
Yeah, they did, and there's so many of them are going, "What the hell did I do? Why did I do this?" And now the man is just way out of control. So he's like that man. that 80-something-year-old you just talked about, he walks out on the field and starts talking about crazy stuff, and
Yep.
while
Yep.
while people are in the midst of winning the World Cup, and you over here talking about some nonsense that you did win in 2020. They don't give a crap, or Rooney.
Crazy stuff, man.
It's
All
some,
right.
okay. So I just really wanted to share that. I just sent that over to you. Check it out. She said she's thinking, she's been in New York. She lives she's in New York, but she went to Atlanta and did a big fintech conference. And so she's thinking of, she goes, maybe I need to add LA to my next travel plan. So I told her, we got lots of people here that would love for you to come here with that.
Oh, I'm sure. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All
All
right.
righty,
Thank you
sir.
for the heads up. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I'll talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Oh, I think it was this. I think. Yeah, she called me. I called her back. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Crystal.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Um,
Very good.
yeah, I saw your emails this, but I was at weddings, and this weekend I was all over the place this weekend.
I understand, Michelle Obama. I'm not mad. Out handling your business in the world,
Yeah,
making an impact
yeah,
in
yeah. Well,
lives.
this one was on personal impact, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't get to do a lot of that, so I was partaking. One of my good friends got married, and then we had a big event with my tennis program. So um, that's kind of where I was, having
Okay.
paid to my philanthropy and friend duties.
Oh my goodness. Tennis program?
Yeah, we run a tennis program for kids, for the ages of 4 to 18.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Let me rewind my proverbial clock. And it would take some rewinding, okay?
Yeah, it's a program that I sit on the board, actually, and we've been doing it it's been in the community for a very long time, and but it's fantastic for the kids because they get to learn how to play tennis, and then we have kids that are competitors, and it's a gateway to college.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's so we had We had our own Wilmington Day, Wilberton Day. Everybody was in their whites, and the kids had a big a lot of activities for them, and they won prizes and stuff. And we had and Chase came out to help us kick it off. Chase Bank. So.
That's so awesome,
Mm,
Crystal.
mm-hmm. So.
Girl, I'm honored. The more I learn about you, the more honored I am. No wonder you ain't calling little old me back.
There are a lot of moving parts to me.
Okay, good stuff. That is amazing.
Yeah, so we're
Listen, I checked out Beehive,
uh-huh.
and I think that might be the ticket.
Okay. You said you had some
Yeah,
questions.
yes. So, although the name is set up for newsletters, and I did ask the chatbot, and they said there is no limit to how many pages your newsletter can be. So, can I set the newsletter up to be the magazine?
Yeah, I think you could actually. Yeah, because each page it might not flip like a magazine.
I didn't want it to flip anyway. I wanted it to scroll. I didn't because of the season people. They didn't feel comfortable with the ones who I asked. They didn't feel comfortable with that flip feature.
Mm-hmm.
But scrolling is what our brains have become trained to do because of social media, of course. And I really did want it to have the scrolling feature.
Oh, well then in that case, I could see no reason. I think there is actually space. I think there's a place. Let me get into my. Oh, let me get to this other. I have to get into the account where I have the Beehive account. I have to get to my other account. Yeah, I think that could work, and I may have even seen some designs for that, but let me check and see.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want this, if it's not going to be like a traditional, flat flip magazine, then
Yeah.
that could actually work. And then the pages, how it's set up, then the pages actually could have their ads on it, just like you would, because that's kind of where the ads go on the pages.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that actually could work. So the very first one that I had set up my because I have two Beehive, one for my gardening site, which I haven't started yet, but for my the podcast that I have, I actually had someone at Fiverr who was very good graphic artist.
Okay.
They were the ones set up the first one,
Okay.
and then after I saw kind of what they did, I was able to set up another one. But there may be individuals that can do that because there is so it has a website as
Right.
well. So when people go to it, they see, like in my case, the Business Zone newsletter, and then the first thing is they subscribe to it because that's how you get their information.
Right.
And then after that, then they go into the various posts that are there. And so if you're, and so with that, if your pages if it's going to open up to scrolling pages, yeah, I could see that being a really good idea. And it's the builder that it would be done in. It's
Okay.
an actually builder there, so you can. I think there's an AI component to it, and then there's one where you can physically set it up yourself, so you can build a comprehensive news or content website with it. So yeah,
Okay.
and I'm trying to
So,
look on it to see. Let me see. Let me look at some of the. And now they have the podcast sites. I'm trying to look and see if some. There are some examples or some samples of some of their top producing on somewhere in this thing. When I went through it before, um, and there is a tutorial. Uh,
right.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think that could work. And what was the other question? I'll do some other research on my end as well. But I don't see why it would not.
Okay, so that as long as there is no max on the page count, then I think it could work. And then after the success, like we talked about, of the magazine, then I will do an offspring as a more traditional newsletter later, as on a smaller scale, of course. But if everything could live in one platform, the magazine, newsletter, podcast, whatever, the Ask Danny feature with your brilliant self that you came up with, and everything else, if it can all live in one place and I don't have to create on Canva, move to Wix, upscale again, that would be major for me.
I think it could. Let me go ask a quick little question myself. Beehive. Oops. In fact, let me ask my little chat buddy because he knows I use that. So I think that's a better place for me to ask this question. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea because I'm thinking of the ad revenue piece. So then it
Yes,
wouldn't be all over the place.
yes.
Um, yeah, that would really work.
Oh my God, girl, you have no idea.
Let me see. I'm gonna ask
God
it.
have blessed me.
Create create my beehive like a magazine because the news magazines are created like that.
Okay.
Let me see what this says. Yes, you absolutely can create your Beehive publication to look and feel like a digital magazine. It's
Yes.
because Beehive is built for both email and web hosting. You can style your content using multiple columns, and that is true because it has that in custom colors, um, cover template, the thumbnails to match a magazine format.
Mm.
Structure as sections, create sections and featured articles.
Oh my
You
goodness.
can style your layout, and there's which is part of the post builder that's in there, and you can have columns and grids, and you can pull quotes and dividers, and have your own custom font and a template. Once you have found an aesthetic you like, then you can save it as a newsletter template. You can do visuals and media, high quality imagery and audio and video, and set up paid subscriptions.
Girl, if you don't shut up, that
Yep.
is everything. And you said, which is the second major question, is the email, the mass email capability. So I don't have to go through MailChimp or Constant Contact. I can do everything through Beehive.
Right. So that's one of the glamours of Beehive is that you can upload. They have a mailing system already, and so you can have and that's how the plan is actually priced based upon how many emails you have. When you get over, when you start getting higher, getting into the larger amounts of subscriptions and emails, and it then it costs a little bit more, but yeah. So you can do that, and you also can do, like I said, product, and they have automations, I believe, that can be created where to build your powerful automatic email journey. And so yeah, you just attach your subscribers to, or I do use, well, I think it's, I don't know if it's Mailchimp. It's not Mailchimp they use. I think they do Mailer Lite, which is what I use anyway. But it says you import your new subscribers in, and then you set your tiers on how you want them to, if it's a free tier or a paid tier. So, like for the newsletter, would be free tier, and then
Right.
your magazine would be a probably a paid tier. So you would set that all up in there,
Absolutely.
and it all will come in one space.
Okay. So when I get a new subscriber and they say I want to subscribe to the magazine, they pay whatever the subscription is, and a perk of the paid prescribership is the free newsletter. And so that's automated right off the cuff. There's nothing else that I have to do other than build that into my infrastructure.
Right.
Oh my God, Crystal.
Yeah, you can be in one space. You don't have to be all over the place importing and doing. And that's actually that was the beauty of the two um um platforms, actually, because so many of the content creators and journalists that's on YouTube and that was on TikTok, that's the one thing they didn't have, was access to their own email. So yes, you don't have to have a separate programming. It's built into your website. It's built into the platform for them to subscribe, for them to access in, and it could you can trigger it however you want it to be triggered, but it's built like that.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you may have the answer to this. I did sign up for the 14-day free trial just so that I could kind of, look around and see what the offerings were. That's how come I'm like, am I seeing things?
Yeah.
So moving forward, so like as the subscribership increases, am I able to increase my plan, or do I have to do the all inclusive right now, or just can I start and then as the numbers increase, my plan increases? Do
Yeah.
you have a okay?
Yeah. So the way it works is you add is no cost up until 2,500 subscribers. But there are
Okay.
some other if some of the features. I pay something for this. I think I pay 39. Let me see where. Let me go over there and find out where I pay because I can't remember what I pay for. I think I paid 39, 39, or do I don't think I pay anything for Beehive just yet because I'm under the 39, under the 2,500. But the way it is so if you sign up, so you're under the trial, but if you sign up for free, you get newsletter, website, and podcast. You get uh, the campaign analytics. You get unlimited email sent. You get a recommended network, optimized deliverability, which makes sure it getting to where you're going to get to. You have custom domain, link in bio, AI web builder, and then it has the API access if you're going to add something to it. And now it has Copilot. But then when you get up, let me see, when you go further, it's 43 a month, and that includes paid recommendations, ad network, zero take rate on paid subscriptions, digital products. There's a community, your email automatizations, your surveys and polls, and some more analytic stuff. And you can have a team of three, and there's even Slack community access, and then you have human support. And then when you get up to probably your bigger package, more subscribers, then it's 96 a month. It goes up as it sees that your income is going up for it.
Okay.
And on the max, so the launch is where you would be now. Then scale is helping you scale yourself up, and then the max is it removes the Beehive branding. You have a sponsorship storefront. You have an audio newsletter, and you can do up to 10 different publications.
Okay, for $100 a month.
Uh-huh. Priority human support. You even get Getty image credits, dynamic content. You
Oh
you
my
you
God,
have an
girl.
AI bot. And then of course when you get over your 100,000 subscribers, then you get a whole concierge onboarding.
Girl. this is the answer that I've been
I
praying
Yeah, I
for.
think so because you would be paying because Wix has its own cost, and yeah, and then you have to figure out how to make sure all the connections are together, right? So if you got to do a podcast somewhere else, you got to do this somewhere else, then you have to make sure all of them are integrated in together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Now I already own the domain, so even which doesn't matter because I can just direct
you can
them
direct
wherever
it
I want
wherever
them
you
to
want it
go.
to that. Yeah, and so what I would probably do is to go over to a Fiverr and see if you can find a designer over there that designs it exactly the way you want it. Then after that they can show you how to use it. But so that it comes out the bat, unless you have someone that's already was going to design your newsletter, which would be a
It's
graph.
me. I'm designing it. That's
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, there are a number, if you go to YouTube, there's a whole YouTube channel on how to use, and there's Beehive, and instructional tutorial. And there's also
Oh,
one built inside of the newsletter as well.
okay.
So,
Got it.
so
I
that way you get a good
appreciate
feel
that.
about it, and you can play around, and you can change it, and you can play with it. It doesn't get, you know, it doesn't get locked in. So you can always
Okay.
come out of that one and do another one, whatever you want to do. But it will show you how to
Okay.
start to create it. And especially because some of the tools, they've done some major increasing. I've been seeing the notifications. I hadn't been using it lately, but I
Mm.
even need to go back and do some what how to make sure it's profitable, and how to create it so it's attractive and will gain um, um, traction from the people that you want to send it to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Mm.
Well, that was my question. Those are
Okay.
my questions.
Well,
Yay.
yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, I think that's actually a good format to put it in.
I am so excited.
Because because in between that you send out the magazine. Are you planning on publishing it once a month?
Yes, it's going to be a monthly publication. Again, we're going to launch at the top of 2027. But again, as I'm beta testing and meeting all these people, I'm just uploading and the email piece
Mm.
so that I'm building that, building the community while I'm building the magazine
Okay.
so that all the worlds collide at the pre-launch at Pretty in Pink, and then the actual launch in December when we push the button for us to go um, in January.
Okay, yeah. Well, you will be great. You'll be good and knowledgeable by that time, on how it works, and you probably could have practiced how you want that to look. But and then in between, so you can actually even start your campaign moving up to it. Right, it's about to come. It's almost here.
Yes,
That kind of
yes,
stuff,
yes.
and so that you're garnishing and I would do it just like if you were going to do a big book launch. You know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this, Crystal, and don't let me take up your time because I really do understand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what are your thoughts on a social media campaign? Do you have any social media knowledge?
Yeah. So, obviously, you reaching out to your people. I think. Why are you talking? Um. Hold on. You create a content calendar, and so on that content calendar, pretty much it's already preset, right? And if you're using AI, you can actually have it start, and you can actually have it create the whole launch, the whole campaign leading up to it, and every day and the time frame, and create your content calendar on what should go where and when to, and they can tell you the best times send it out to when people will be most responsive to opening up, and how often your chat will do that.
So I can use ChatGPT and Claude.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I would have Claude do my content calendar, and then I would take that calendar over and have a chat kind of create the designs of it. It's better at that than Claude would be, because you get it's
Okay.
still got to be still it's got to be media ready to get people to look at it. Claude, like I said,
Yeah.
it's kind of the professional platform, but it can do all of that part on what needs to go there for every month. Um, and when the time framing and all that sort of stuff, and then you go over and upload that content calendar into your up to in your chat GPT and say, now can you create the the fly, the marketing materials that you want to
Yeah.
use, and within the color scheme and branding that you want it to be.
Okay. Okay. Because that is those are the two pieces that I'm really stuck on because I just am not a social media person and I know that I have to be.
Yeah, and then so that you're not going through all of them, but so your so what is the target population age for your client, your person that you would want would be open to a subscription or purchasing a subscription from you.
Yes, I get it. Professional women from late 20s, early 30s through to about late 40s, early 50s. And I say that very loosely because literally everybody that I speak to from the regular folks I have the women of distinction who just go from the mid teen all the way to the mid 70s, upper 80s.
Okay. So you're looking at, so for the young women, you're looking at TikTok, Instagram
Right,
primarily. And
right.
then you want to make sure you're specifying that to both Claude and a chat,
Okay,
because the messaging will be different and the imagery will be different. Um,
okay,
and then for your older population, the 40 and up, would be Facebook. And your
okay,
professional women would be Facebook. Well, both of those, that age group, would be on LinkedIn and Facebook. So that's a different kind of posting. But you would tell them this is who your people, this is where your people reside, and
okay,
so your LinkedIn would be different than your Facebook post.
okay,
Okay, because it's professional ladies, women in a different vernacular, but it can create all that for you. Um, and then once it's time to go out, there is let me make sure it still exists. It may there's some other ones out there as well. Um, it's called Hootsuite, and so what it does is it allows you to post multiple. Um, and there's several of them out there now. There's there's several of them. What you do is it's all in one, so you can post everywhere you want to post to, upload all of your social media platform to that site, and then you can schedule it out when you want it to go out.
what's the name of it?
So there's one, I'm looking at one. There's several of them. There's one's called Brand Watch. Let me see. Let me see if I can get the whole platform. Uh, uh, Comparison chart. That's what I want. Comparison chart
Okay,
of all in one social media management marketing platforms. And that does help because you're not, so you don't, they can be scheduled and you don't have to spend all your time trying to figure out when to do it and what to do it and how to do it.
yes,
It is
child.
already out there. Um, Social media platforms. And you probably should be building out your budget so you'll know exactly what you're looking for when it's time to, you know, what you'll be spending monthly.
Yes.
So that helps you as well. But it looks like, let's see, there's a social bee. Here's a
Social B.
I'm getting ready. I just found what I was looking for. I was looking for the comparison one. Yeah, they gave me all of them. Yeah, the best ones that are out there. Yeah, there is Hootsuite, which is for large teams and scales. So that's
Can you spell that for me?
HOOTSUITE.
Okay, got it.
Sprout Social. That's usually social media managers themselves use that one.
Okay,
SPROUT Social because it's a little bit more costly.
okay,
There's one called Buffer.
okay,
Um, there's one called Social Bee.
okay.
And yeah, those are the top ones. And I would
Okay.
also go use YouTube for this because there's a lot of training out there from content creators that have already used them, and they have decided which is the best one. And if they also can tell you which is the best one that works well with probably Beehive because
Okay.
that's usually who's been doing this. And that's how I found Beehive was I did a whole search on YouTube and it kind of told me which ones and why people like this one and why they chose this one and why they did this and why they did that.
Okay. Holy cannoli. All right.
That way you don't get all lost out there. But that minimizes how much effort you have to put into the and time because that's huge, right?
It's major.
You're going to be already creating the content for the magazine itself. You and then have to be doing the marketing in between that for one person.
Yes.
Initially, you'll have a whole team that will do all of this, but in the meantime, you're going to have to rely on a lot of the tools that are out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, just like you said, whatever I can take off of my shoulders and put into an automated format is huge for me because I still life is still real. I still got
Right,
to
you
do
guys
it.
still got your son, so yeah, you got to make sure so as automated as you can get, and both in
Yes.
chat and within chat and
Claude.
Claude, they have bots set up, so you could actually set a bot, especially on Claude, once you personalize it and set
Okay.
up the GPTs to work along with your Claude partner,
Okay.
then it can make sure that it's already optimized and I instructed mine to work together. So I don't have to go to both of you. You guys work this out behind the AI scene.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, so it ain't no secret.
No.
Claude, y'all don't have to keep Claude from chat.
They tell you to use each other.
Girl. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
They're there to make
Okay.
your life easier, not you to make their life easier.
Lord, I know. I'm like, this is not a real person, girl. I done named my chat GPT. Her name is Mimi.
Yeah, I got mine's name too, and he shows out every time I you just have the weirdness, but you have wow I couldn't have done this without you. Oh yes I have, and I was thinking of like okay
Exactly. Exactly. Tell us everything we need to hear, right?
exactly let me have at it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. This is amazing, Crystal. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but yeah, so have them create all of the leading up to and even in some cases, if you get stuck on your articles, I always ask before I run my podcast, I always run okay, what's trending, or if I've heard of something that got my attention, then I turn and then I go and I clarify it with them. Okay, is this a topic that fits in what my brand is because they know what my brand is, and then they'll come back and say, "Yeah." And my guy, he gets really enthusiastic. He has me create movements and all kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Oh,
they're good for that to verify because the trends change regularly, and I usually my question to them is this you know